Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining in for our webinar, How to Build Your Own Social Media Automation. Before we go further, it's good to know that everything we will be presenting will be shared, the replay, the slides, the blueprint of the automation, of course. You can also put your phone away from now on so that we can start and have all your full attention. Can you go to the next slide? Yes, my name is Max Sidek, growth marketeer and events lead at Sprints Sneakers. That means that I'm responsible for all the external events we are hosting, such as the webinars, the in-person events, and also our festival. This year it will be held in the third week of September, and all of you will get the email to pre-sign up for our festival. Yes, we are Sprint Sneakers. We are a growth marketing agency. We are the first growth marketing agency that got B Corp certified in the world. So we are super proud of that. And as you can see, our purpose is to work with brands that are making impact and making as much impact as possible. Our goal for next year is to work for 100 impact-driven companies. And we also think that making profit and making impact goes hand in hand. Normally, it's quite easy to explain how good you are in the work you're doing. But as you can see, we've won some awards. We have some interesting collaborations and, of course, platform partnerships. And I'm sure you guys know one of these partnerships we have. And also, Bart van Gasteren, a well-known growth marketeer in Europe, ranked us as #1 growth hacking agency for the fourth time in a year. For the 4 years in a row, sorry. And I hope almost every one of you is following us on the socials. And that means that you should have seen this post from us about Financial Times. And we are recognized as Europe's fastest growing company this year. And I'm so proud of that. And it's super interesting to be a part of this company and of this journey. This was a slide of the festival, and Bart, our founder, presented this slide. And as you can see, it's a sales automation. It's a sales automation that's built in Make. And 4 years ago, we were, of course, already running these kind of automations. But if you go to the next slide, you can see where we are capable of doing now. And this is a automation on steroids. It is super interesting to see what you can do with building your own automations in Make. Don't be scared. This won't be the automation we will be building today, but today we will help you guys to build your own social media distribution automation that will save you a lot of time. Before Dennis will start, it's good to know that there is a chat, so you can ask your questions in the chat. If you have any question, please raise your hand. And then I will give you the mic so you can start asking your question. And at the end of the webinar, there's also a moment for the Q&A, so you can ask all your questions during that time. Enjoy it, and good luck, Dennis.
Yep. Thanks, Max. So my name is Dennis Nijboort. I've been automating my own business in this way since 2019. So the previous slide you saw about the automation, that's one of the automations I run within my own company. The company I run currently is Mr. Tills, which is co-founded by Sprint Sneakers, and we sell personalized children books. So you can imagine that personalized children books where actually people can send in a photo and we create a cartoon based on that photo and enter that inside of the book, contains of a lot of digital processes. And therefore, it was very important for us to automate almost all of our business. So these are some more examples of things we have automated inside of our business, which for some people might seem overwhelming, but I can actually explain it to you in like 5 minutes if you sit next to me and we go through it step by step, because it's actually just the process which we break down. So I think, so the example we are actually doing was an operation for a business selling personal children book, but for Mr. Tills. And actually what was going on in let me show in this one. What's that? We basically, when an order comes in, we create a Drive folder, we create a Trello card, we create a Google Sheet line, and we add all of the images from the customers to a Google Drive folder. And it really seemed overwhelming, but we just broke down every single step into an automation. And by doing so, you can save a lot of time and help your business. So it was the automation. And today we're going to focus on automating your social media, not in a way that it's 100% automated, but in a way that you can make it more efficient, but also increase the quality of the posts you do. But there are many scenarios where you can use this, especially in the e-commerce. You can create an automatic blog writer. Of course, everybody knows ChatGPT, and you can send in a text to ChatGPT and then get a full blog. But that's not what you can do with automations. With automation, you can go a step further. So with automation, for example, you can create a blog where you can enter the images inside of the blog. You can search for the right keywords. You can rewrite some stuff if you don't like it. Same thing for customer service. You don't want to, in my opinion, don't want to fully automate customer service, but you want to use automations to, for example, already create a draft and where you got the information from your order system or from the previous conversation with the customer. Automated email newsletter, automated app script writer. So basically what you could do is look at all of your winning ads, look at how they are structured and ask some kind of ChatGPT through an automation on how to create a better script. And automated keyword research, as was mentioned within the blog writer, but also of course for your Google ads, for example. And these are just 6 examples, but you can do so many things with automations. Today, we're going to focus on one of these scenarios, so the automated social media poster. And the goal of today is basically that I'm going to show you how to do it. I think it will be hard to directly follow along, but we will share the video afterwards. And we'll also share the actual scenario. So my goal is to teach you that after you watch this webinar, you can actually do it yourself by following the video and understanding my thought process behind it. So, as we said, saving time posting in social media. And it actually contains 2 steps. We will, if we can go back, basically, we will have our own images ready. We will put them inside of a Dropbox, and then we'll ask ChatGPT to create captions based on our images. Of course, we will do that in an automated way. Then we put those captions and suggestions in a Google Sheet. And in the Google Sheet, we will have an option to either approve it or rerun it. And once we approve it, it will be scheduled and eventually automatically posted on the platform we want. In our case, we'll look at Instagram and Facebook. You can expand on the scenario afterwards. So you can also go upload it to TikTok if it's a video, to LinkedIn, for example. So there are many use cases for this specific scenario. So the end goal is to create something like this. We'll be using 4 apps. ChatGPT to create a caption. We will host our images inside of Dropbox. We will have, we will post it on Instagram and on Facebook, and we'll use Google Sheets in order to manage all of their data, basically. So let's dive into it. We're going to use the platform called Make. So Make's an automation software. Many people know it, but many people also know a different one, which is called Zapier or N8N, which are also definitely possible to use. I just prefer Make. That's the thing I've been using since 2019. And I believe it's the most beginner-friendly one as well. So we're going to dive into it. I've already created these. So this is what we're going to create. We'll first explain it, then we go on and we do it from scratch. So the first thing we're going to do is find the data. So we will have a Google Sheet with all of our information, things like our file name, which is hosted in Dropbox, the caption for Facebook, the caption for Instagram. Here we'll say if we approve it or not. Once it's posted, we will have a date of posting. We will also share the actual post ID to Instagram and the post ID to Facebook. that will be hosted inside of our sheet. So once we found the data we want to use, we will download it from, create a download link from Dropbox. We'll eventually download the image, send it over to ChatGPT, where we ask them to create a caption specifically based on that image for Facebook. We do the same thing for Instagram, and we put that information back into the spreadsheet. That's going to be phase one. So then we have something that will look like this. Then we work in Google Sheets. We will approve it. And once it's approved, we will move on to phase two. And phase two is basically finding data. And the data in this case is any line that is approved, but not posted yet. So we do the same thing. We'll download it again, but then we will post it actually to Instagram and post it to Facebook. And we'll update the sheet so we are sure that everything is set. That's that's simply the process. In the end, we will share both of these scenarios, these both blueprints, because in May you can actually share it across accounts. So I can simply export the blueprints and save it. And if I go to a new scenario, import it. You actually have to do the full blueprint here. That's not the goal of this session, but it's something you can do if you want to check what I actually did, if you wanted to compare your own scenario to mine. But I believe the goal of this session should be that you can do it from scratch on your own. I will show the errors I will run into. But yeah, I really want you to create it from scratch. That's my goal. So that's also what we're going to do right now. So I'm going to create a new scenario. Assume everybody has its own make account already set up. If not, you can do it. Yeah, of course you can do it afterwards, but I'm not going to teach you how to set up all of these accounts. I will simply slowly show you some links on how to do it, but that is not the purpose of this webinar. So as we said, we first want to have a spreadsheet where we can find the data. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this. I'm going to start a new spreadsheet, which you can do with sheets.new. And here I'm going to prepare my spreadsheet with all of the information you want. So I want a file name. I want a caption for Facebook. I want to have a caption for Instagram. I want to have some kind of approval system. So I'm going to say approval. We want to have a date of posting. And eventually we want to have like the ID of post IG. So in the ID of post Facebook. So we can later track which post was this, which we did. Yeah, then we go back to the scenario. So we're going to Google Sheets. And actually here, and so basically now, so what we're actually doing is we want to select the program which we want to start with. So in this case, it's going to be Sheet. We click on it and we have to find the right one. So actually there are multiple ones you can use, and ChatGPT can always help you with things like this. So basically what you could do is explain your situation, screenshot it, send it to ChatGPT, and it will help you find the right module. In our case, we're going to use the one that says search rows because we want to search the rows inside of our spreadsheet. I'm going to click on that. Okay, so it's asking me for a spreadsheet ID. Let's see. Okay, now it's simply giving me a lot of options. Normally you should know where you actually created the folder. I don't remember, so I'm kind of struggling already. So I'm going to see if I can use this mapping tool to actually enter a spreadsheet ID, which is basically the direct link. As I said, you can use ChatGPT to find out, okay, how do I do stuff like this? So what I'm going to do for now, simply screenshotting this, and I'm going to ask ChatGPT, how can I find the spreadsheet ID of my Google Sheet? This is just to show you how to debug stuff like this and create your own automation, because eventually you will run into issues. And And it's just a way of helping you. Let's see. So it's giving us the sample. Yeah, so it's saying if your Google Sheet URL is like this, then this will be the spreadsheet ID. So basically the area that's standing here. So if we go to our spreadsheet ID, we'll see that this is actually our spreadsheet ID. So let's see, we're going to edit. Sheet name, you can do the same thing. Okay, what is sheet name? There's also documentation, of course, about this Google Sheet, but sheet name in our case, let's see, it is Blood 1. You could also change the name, of course, that would be better. For webinar purposes, I'm just going to leave it like this. Okay. And it's important to always rename your modules. So if you go back like a few months later, you instantly understand what you're doing. So I'm going to say finding data. And I'm going to run it to see if it's configured correctly. Okay, so running into an issue. Once again, what you could do is screenshot this, send it to ChatGPT to find out, okay, what is going on. Because we'll run into these kind of issues quite often, but it's like, it's all about debugging and finding the solution. In this case, we know, okay, it's permission denied. That is probably something to do with the permission. I already know, okay, this is a different Google account that I'm using in my actual automation. So what I'm actually going to do is save this, say Facebook and IG automation. And I'm going to say everybody is able to edit it. It's not the most secure thing, but in this case, I don't really care that people are able to access the sheet. So let's see if we solved our issue. We did, that's great, but we didn't find any output yet. That's because we didn't enter any rows. So let's start filling up this information. So what I'm going to do is what I actually want to do is find this information. So I've uploaded all of my Instagram posts right here. I'm going to enter the information inside of the Google Sheet. So let's say I want to publish those 3 for now for this example case. So I'm going to copy the file name. I'm going to say 1.png. Let's say you have like 100 of these things. Once again, just a quick tip is to use ChatGPT for this. Continue this until, and then I'm going to say like 50. Let's say we have 50 images, but we don't want to manually type this every time. We can use ChatGPT to create this for us. Let's see if it actually does it. Because we can see I actually do have over 50 of these images. So it would be beneficial to have this. Okay, if it's not loading, then I will simply continue because we already have 3. Because this is taking a bit too long for now. So we're gonna ignore it for now. This is just the way I always do stuff like this. Now it's going on right now. Okay, so here's the complete list. So it's giving us the entire list right now. So we can copy this and actually paste it right there. All right, let's go back to the scenario. Let's run it again. And we can see it actually found a lot of information right now. For our testing purposes, we only want to find the first row. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the limit. So the maximum number of returned results is going to be 1. And let's see what happens if we do that. Okay, check. So now we only found 1, which is the first image, which is actually this line. And that was the one we want to focus on. So that's great. Okay. So the goal we're looking at is basically we want to create a caption based on this image. So we need a way to send this image to ChatGPT. So the first thing we need to do is actually get the image ourselves, which is going to be through Dropbox. And you can use Google Drive for this, but for the social media aspect, I actually suggest Dropbox because in this tool, Google Drive has a setup which makes it more difficult. So if you want to start out with this, I recommend Dropbox just for this specific use case. And the first thing you need to do is make it publicly available. So we first need to open up our Dropbox folder by creating a share link, actually. So let's see. Okay, so we need to enter a file path. Once again, if we don't know how to do this, we go back to ChatGPT. So it says we need to add this, also adds the extension. So if I go back to Dropbox, I can see that I probably need to enter this. And then we need to do this. And then we need to say our file name. So we could type it out. But the nice thing with and what makes it really powerful is that you can connect the applications to each other, basically. So we got the information from our first Google Sheet, which was this file name. And now I actually want to dynamically use this file name in my next phase. So I'm going to say file name. Now you will see what happens. Let's see, do we need anything else to download it? I think we need this as well, because this allows us to download it. And it's all about try and error. So if it didn't work, then we maybe had to turn this on. We would find it out eventually. Let's save it. I'm going to say create a downloadable link. And let's see what happens if we run the full scenario. Okay, seems like success. So we got this information. I can see a download URL, so that seems good. But we didn't actually download it. So let's go ahead and actually download a file from Dropbox. And okay, here we need to enter simply the file path again. So let's go out of here and simply copy it from here. And yeah, so often there are multiple ways of actually getting the thing you want in Make. In my opinion, it's not about the most efficient way. It's just about getting it done. Because like running these scenarios is just so cheap. So it's not about how efficient you create your scenario. It's about, does it work? Download the image. And let's see if we run it, what happens. Okay, seems like success again. So we can see file size. So it actually seems like it worked. So that's great. Okay, so now we got our image. Basically what we said, we want to create a caption based on that image, which we can use for our Instagram or Facebook. So what we're going to do is go to ChatGPT or any other platform. I actually would suggest to use Claude. If people don't know, I believe Claude is like a competitor of ChatGPT, but in my opinion, right now they are actually better. But for the purpose, we just use one that is more common, which is ChatGPT, and we need to find the right thing to do. In this case, we're going to use a create completion. Yeah, for all of these, I forgot to mention, for all of these, you first need to connect your accounts. So you first need to add an account in Dropbox, in Google Sheets, but also for your ChatGPT. And this, this is different than your regular ChatGPT. So if you have a premium €20 a month ChatGPT account, this is not it. You need to set up something that's specifically for an API key. So if you go here and click on online help, it will explain you how to set this up. And you actually, with €5 of credits on there, you can actually last for a very long time. So it's even cheaper than having a premium account on ChatGPT. But there it will explain you how to set this up. I've already set it up, so I need to select a model. Every model has different pricing points. For our purpose, we use one that is efficient and quick, which is the 4.0 Mini. But you have to do your own research. You can actually test models against each other to find out which results in which has the best results for your use case. We want to send a message. We're going to be the user. And this part is actually really important, but in this webinar, I'm not going to pay too much attention to it. This is actually what determines your quality of your output. So this is basically where we create the prompt. So I'm going to say, I want you to create a caption based on my image that I can send to shit that I can send to that I can use on Instagram. Facebook, we're actually doing Facebook. Make sure it's about 3 lines. It ends with hashtags. Don't use in your text. I know this sometimes happens, so that's why I'm already putting it there. Oh, at maximum use one emoji and yeah, so we have the hashtags. Okay, I'm also going to say it's for a business selling personalized children books. And then I'm going to say make sure respond only with the caption, nothing else, so I can instantly post it. And this is something you really have to test with and change. What helps if you add examples, see these examples, and here you add like 10 examples of things you like, and that will give a way better results than just doing it like this. But this is actually a really important part. We also need to enter an image. I'm going to say image file. So once again, you see we can use the information from our previous step in the next steps. So I'm going to say download the file, and this is basically it. I'm going to rename it and say caption for Facebook. What I always like to do is to add an emoji, which makes it easier to understand. Let's see if we can actually find one real quick. Probably not the best one. I'm just going to do this one for now. And we're going to run it. And now we hope to get an output that is just the caption for Facebook, nothing else. Then we can move on. Great. Yeah, so what it actually did is I sent this image. This was the image that was sent to ChatGPT basically. And based on this image, it created this caption. So you could change it, like tell me what's going on the image, for example. Make sure that you use elements that are inside of the image. But it's just yeah, you have to play around with it basically. So for Instagram, I want to have a slightly different caption. So I'm going to open it. First, actually going to rename it. I'm going to say IG. And now I'm simply going to say use one line and make it for Instagram. Let's see, Instagram line. Let's run it one more time to make sure we get the right output. And now the next step, what we're actually going to do is make sure that we enter it inside of our sheet. So we got the Facebook one, which is quite similar to one we actually saw. Now we're expecting one line. Yeah, so it actually listened to us and it gave us the caption. So what I'm going to do now is I want to have this information inside of my sheet. So I don't want to add a row, I want to update a row. And yeah, here we can select it again. Quicker way is actually to enter it manually and say, oh, well, basically here we can use the information from our previous steps. So it's going to be this spreadsheet ID, it's going to be this sheet name, and it's going to be this row. And for the column range A to Z. And then in B, we want to have the results for Facebook. So results, and in C, we want to have the results for Instagram. Like this. And we're going to name it update, update the sheet. And let's run it. And it's actually phase one. So I'm going to say IG and Facebook poster phase one. And let's see if it works. So for Facebook, yeah, here we can actually see Anna in Candy World, which was actually this image. So it's also giving us proof that it's actually looking at the image. And here we got the one line for Instagram, and now it's updated in here. Yeah, so great. So Facebook, correct. Instagram, correct. Okay, nice. So we have phase one done. What you could do is basically send, I'm actually gonna tell you what is useful to do. Here I'm gonna set approval. So basically what is gonna happen if we run this again, it will again look for this first row. But that's gonna be an issue because we already have that one. So we want to work with filters to make sure that we don't only look at the same row every time. So inside the data, we want to make sure that we only look for rows where the caption of Facebook does not exist. And I'm also going to say caption for Instagram does not exist. Because if we run it right now, we will find row 2. So that's why we set it up like this. So I'm going to schedule it. I'm going to say I want to run this every day at this time. And I'm going to activate it. And I'm actually going to allow it to find more. So if I'm going to run this right now, it should be giving us like all of the other ones with caption too. Well that it's running, I am going to prepare the sheet. So as we said, we want to double check, okay, do we like this or don't we? If we don't like this, we can actually remove it again and it will search for it again and update it. If we like it, we can approve it and we can move on to our second phase of the scenario. Okay, so these are coming in. So I'm going to stop this for now. And the second one was actually, if you remember from the beginning, was actually quite similar to this. So basically we had to find the information again. We needed to download the image. We didn't need to create a caption because we already have that. We did need to update the sheet. So all we actually need to replace is this part where we, instead of creating a caption for the platforms, we go actually post it on the platforms. So I'm going to move out of here. What I'm actually going to do is simply clone this one. I'm going to reuse the elements that I'm already satisfied with. So I'm going to update it. And now I'm going to think about, okay, what data do I want to find? So let's go into it. In this case, I actually want to find a row where the caption does exist. And the caption for Instagram also exists. So let's see what happens if we do that. Okay, so it found two outputs, number 1 and number 2, because those two have a caption. That's great. But actually, I only approved line 1, so I still also want to do something with that. So I'm actually going to say and approval equal to, in this case, you can see it's true. If I do it like this, it's false. So what I actually want to find is equal to true. If I turn this on, let's see what happens. Turn it off. Then we have no outputs. If I turn it on, we do have the outputs. And we only found 1 in this case because this one was still turned off. For our testing, well, actually for our flow purpose, I'm going to set this limit to 1, which is quite important because let's say one day we want to approve all of them, but we only want to post 1 a day. So therefore we set the limit to 1. What I also am going to do is I don't want to find it when it's actually already posted. So once it's posted, we are going to update the date here. So let's say it's going to be like this. Then I don't want to find it anymore. So I'm going to look for it now. We find it. I want to make sure that when the date of posting exists, I don't want to find it. So let's see. Okay, so we're still finding it. That is probably because I said exists, which I didn't meant to do. Yeah, So I want to say does not exist because then it's empty. Okay. So now we found 0. Great. So we say, okay, this one is ready to be posted. We are satisfied with with quality, and let's move on. So for now, I'm going to remove those two. So we said we don't want to use it. We see an error right here because now it's missing the information. So I'm gonna unlink it for a second. And just for testing purposes, I just test a lot, like on every step. I want to make sure it's still working. So I'm gonna search for it. I'm gonna create a download link and download the image. Great, so it seems to work. So now the big moment comes. We actually want to post it to Instagram. So I'm going to Instagram. You need to, of course, first link it. And now I want to find the right one, which is actually going to be creating a photo post. So I'm going to select a specific page I use for testing. This should be your actual page. And here we need to enter a photo URL. So we need to find out, okay, which URL do we need to use? It's going to be the URL from Dropbox. So I can see there are two URLs right here. So if I don't know, we basically have to test it. So we can simply see, okay, if we do this, does it work? If not, we try this one. Well, I already know it's going to be the download URL. Here we need to enter the caption. Well, the caption was actually inside of the sheet. So as it's Instagram, we use this one, the caption for Instagram. And we're going to save it. I'm going to say posting on IG. We also want to post the same thing on Facebook. So I'm going to Facebook. Let's click. Okay. Here I don't find the one I need, so it's probably going to be something different. It's probably Facebook pages. Yeah, so we found it. And now we need to look for the right one. So here I see create a post. And on here, I don't see a way of adding a image. So I found out, okay, this is probably the wrong one. So I'm going back, Facebook pages. Then it's probably going to be create post with photos. I'm going to select my test account and I'm going to add image. Okay, it's already connected with the photo we downloaded, so that's great. So here we need to enter a caption. In this specific case, it's it seems like we have to add the caption right here, especially because we named it caption every time. But to create an actual post, we need to use the usage one. Once again, it seems a bit odd, but if you test it, you will quickly find out what's going on. So we need to add the caption in the message section, actually. So I'm going to say caption for Facebook. I'm going to add it right there. And sometimes when you're a bit too quick, it gives you still an error because we can see there's a red button that says, red circle that says 2, so 2 errors. But sometimes when you just open it and resave it, it's going to be finished. So it's a bit weird sometimes to just try on error. So I believe it's set up correctly right now. Let's also connect it with our final scenario, our final module, updating the sheet. Okay, let's go through it. Still set up correctly, so that's great. B and C, what was B and C? The caption for Facebook, capture Instagram. That's not what we need anymore. That was the previous scenario. We do need to update the date of posting, so it's going to be E. And here we're going to say the date of posting is going to be right now. So in this, actually in Make, we also have a nice tool where you can ask ChatGPT, ask the AI from Make to give you an output. Time now. Hopefully this works. Yeah, so it's actually giving us the results which we need. So I'm going to say apply. And if you just want to do it manually, it's actually right here. Then we also want the ID of the Instagram post. It's going to be the star right here. And was Instagram first, right? Yeah. So Instagram first and then Facebook. And that should be it. So let's see what happens if we save it and run it. So before we found the first image and we're just going to run it. So now it's posting. So it should post this specific text with this image on our dummy Instagram. There we go. And look, yeah, 30 seconds ago. So this must be it. And for now, I'm gonna remove it, and it should also be posted to Facebook. Facebook movie. And we can see 1 minute ago it posted the it posted this one. Yeah, so that's basically it. The most important thing is that you can yeah, oh yeah, one more thing is actually that we need to turn on the scenario, of course. So we need to come up with a schedule on when we want to post by basically turning this on. So in this case, I'm gonna say I want to post every day at 5 p.m. And now at 5 p.m. every day, it will look for a post that is approved. But probably when we run it, it's going to give us an error because we searched for a row that was approved and we didn't find any. And we moved on by just trying to download the file. So what we want to do is that when there's no post to be approved anymore, we can, for example, set up something that we get an email. That's something you could do. We can just make sure that we don't get an error. And we're going to say text, the total number of bundles is not equal to 0. But I think it's also good to actually get a message when you have an error. So I'm actually going to remove it because if I don't have any posts to send anymore, then I would like to receive an email with an error because I want to have this scheduled for a long time. So that is basically it. Max, you can come in.
Yes,
We'll look for any questions. Yeah.
Yes, thanks, Dennis. There are some questions, and I already shared them with you. Maybe
Okay.
you can read them and then answer them directly. And if there's any other question, please feel free to ask.
Yeah. So the first question is from Narina. What's your experience with this prompt in relation to the quality of the captions created when using the prompt in Dutch? I actually believe that using the prompt in Dutch is definitely possible. So let's go to the phase 1 scenario. And I can give you some tips on how to create a good prompt. Because like often what you see is that they're going to use very AI-ish words. And I believe when you give it like really good examples, but also like a very extensive prompt really helps. So what you could do to make this way better, I'm going to Claude because I actually like that more. And I'm going to say to Claude, can you make yeah, so in Dutch you would say, I'm going to do it in English for now. Make this prompt very long and extensive and way better. So I get high quality outputs in for my caption. And I'm always just keep on typing to ChatGPT because it will understand you anyways. Only output the prompt. If you do it like this, you get a way longer prompt, which you can, which helps you to specify the results. So you get the information, and this is also the place where you would add your own things, but also provide a lot of examples. So that would really help to improve the prompt. Okay, we got a question from Marilyn. Do you mean examples as in examples of the captions you like? Yeah, definitely. So basically, you just give it like 10 examples of captions, which, for example, of the post with the most likes you had. Maybe that's a good identifier of creating a good caption. It could also be captions you like from a competitor, for example, if you want to switch it up. We got a question from Adriana. Can you edit the text on the cell and save it as approved? Can you edit the text on the cell and save it as approved? Not too sure about. I'm not sure if I understand the question actually. Maybe you know, Max, or maybe Adriana can clarify.
Yeah, I will give Adriana. Is she still in the meeting? No, she moved. Okay.
Can you edit the text in the cell and save it as approved? Yeah, I'm not too sure about that question, but basically you can create. This is just a simple system, of course. You can make it the way you like. You can also change this and make sure that you also change the scenario. You can make it the way you like, basically.
We have
Does it
another
also
question
work?
from
Another question from Marilyn.
yeah.
Does it also work for longer captions where you want to share more information, expertise, and tips? Yeah. So basically, it's the same approach as we just checked in Claude. It's really about giving this extensive information to it. And I'm actually sometimes, in some cases, I actually share it. So we basically created something where it made LinkedIn posts based on somebody's tone of voice. And then every time we created a post, we actually sent 30 pages of a Google Doc to ChatGPT. So we can really give it, you can really give it a lot of information, and based on that information, it will create something personalized for you. So you can really send a lot of information to it. Another question from Frederic. Can you set different times to the post, or do you recommend being consistent in this? You can definitely set different times. Like in this automation, you need to come up with a slightly different approach, which is a little bit more advanced. So for this specific use case, I would simply say pick a time. I know there are a lot of research on the best time to post. Personally, I don't really believe in it. I believe more in creating a quality post. And then it doesn't matter which time you post. But yeah, you can definitely set different times, but it's going to be a little bit more advanced. For now, just pick a time and go with it.
Thank you all for today. Dennis, also a great thanks to you. It was super interesting
Yeah,
for me. And have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.
okay, thanks. Bye bye.